8 past 8 at KNEB, and with our special guest here is Kevin Mooney.
Thank you very much, Dennis, and good morning, everyone. We usually do news in this spot, but we decided with Senator Deb Fischer here this morning for a big Commerce Committee field hearing and talking about transportation and the highway bill and other things, we'd feature her on this little segment. So welcome, we're glad to have you here.
Oh, it's great to be here, Kevin. Thank you.
Yeah, really nice. You are here again, like I said, for a field hearing on transportation. Explain what you kind of expect to hear or what you want to hear today.
Well, what I want to hear is the needs and the challenges and the great success stories that we have in rural Nebraska when it comes to transportation. I think that will translate over to what works in rural America. And I know my colleagues in the United States Senate certainly need to hear that. So we're having a field hearing. This is a Senate field hearing, and it will focus on many areas. We have 6 people on our panel. We'll have the Director of Department of Roads. We have someone with the airport here in Scotts Bluff. We have someone representing agriculture. Burlington's going to be there, and of course the roads. The Heartland Expressway is going to be talked about a lot. So this really gives us an opportunity to highlight what's going on in rural Nebraska and rural America.
Yeah, I know you have some, Brent Holiday is going to be there from Nebraska Transport Company,
right.
And then you'll have somebody there from Kelly Bean to talk about the ag thing. And so when you look at that highway bill, is it going to help us as far as local roads and bridges? Is there money actually for local government and to improve roads locally, or is it mostly just interstates and that type of thing?
No, we made sure when we were working on that highway bill that we would look at all the needs across the state of Nebraska. I'm on the Commerce Committee. That's why we're having the hearing here. I'm also on the Environment and Public Works Committee, and both of those committees had jurisdiction in the highway bill. So I was an active participant, and with my past experience in the legislature, I think I brought forth the needs of Nebraska pretty clearly. We're looking at helping Nebraska in many areas, not just Lincoln and Omaha. They certainly will benefit, but also rural areas. There's a freight program, for instance, in this highway bill. It will have stakeholders identify these freight corridors and be able to target money coming in. This is a long-term highway bill. We haven't seen a 5-year highway bill in, I think, over a decade, and I can tell you that doesn't help with our state or with our cities and counties in trying to plan. So this long-term highway bill is going to provide more certainty. There'll be some funds available, and one interesting part here, I think, in Nebraska we have about 3,000 rail grade crossings that need some work done on them. And I think there's an opportunity in this bill that we can get the state and along with the stakeholders to target those areas, and there'll be money there for them. Nebraska's going to get, I think, about $1.5 billion over the next 5 years. So this is really, really going to help.
Wow, that's fantastic. So that's good, and I'm sure some of these people will let you know exactly where you should do some of that work and what works and everything, because they know what's going on. So it should be a good hearing this morning. It's at the Harms Center at 10 o'clock this morning. Public's invited if you want to come hear what's going on. Some of the other things you guys have done, I mean, you're doing things in an election year. You passed a highway bill, you passed an FAA reauthorization bill. What's going on over there?
We've been working the last year and a half. Yeah, we have. We've been working the last year and a half. We passed a highway bill. We passed a big education bill where I worked with different groups all across the state, education groups from local school boards to the NSEA to the state board, school administrators, rural schools. You know, that's how things are supposed to work. And so I'm always really pleased when I can reach back to the state and work with folks who have the experience, who have the knowledge, who have the common sense about what needs to be done. So that was good. We've done a lot, and we're going to continue to do things. We passed that FAA reauthorization. I was happy to work on that one too. That was another big bill that I had the opportunity to work on to make sure that our small rural airports are taken care of, where they can have the chance to turn around and become successful instead of just the federal government coming in and discontinuing programs because
Yeah.
of a year or
Giving
two.
us new pilot training regulations
Yeah,
that
exactly.
give us fits, right?
Yeah,
So,
that one really hurt small airports. And when you see the population decrease in air travel, to penalize an airport for that, that really isn't fair. We all know in rural Nebraska there's cycles, there's ups and downs. So we were able to get an extension on that. That should really help the airport here in Scottsbluff, the Western Regional Airport.
yeah, it really should. Some of the other things you guys you're working on. Are you working on immigration reform at all in this cycle, or is that kind of on the back burner?
I would say that's on the back burner. You know, we are in an election year cycle where I don't like to throw politics into everything. I think that's been a reason for the success we've seen in the last year and a half. There hasn't been so much political talk. You know, in the United States Senate, it takes 60 votes to get anything done. So you have to reach out. You have to work together if you want to be successful. And I don't think we're at that point yet in dealing with immigration. And right now we're focused on appropriations bills, and I am focused on trying to cut government spending in those appropriations bills.
Yeah. You think Congress will actually have a full-fledged budget that it goes through the process and actually makes it through the process like it should?
You know, we're on our first appropriations bill right now. It's energy and water. I have a couple issues with the bill. I'm hopeful that I can get an amendment in it that will help with really with our compact that we have on the Republican River, and what really is the appropriate position of the Bureau of Reclamation in that process. They're kind of pushing it and showing overreach on state-owned water, and I don't appreciate that from the federal government. So I was able to get there were 6 of us on the bill, the 2 senators from Kansas, 2 from Colorado, and the 2 from Nebraska. And my office worked directly with the AG's office in trying to get this amendment to address the issues that we're all having with the Bureau. And so I'm fighting to get that amendment considered. I haven't succeeded in that yet, but I'm fighting my own party in trying to make sure that we can get that amendment up and get it up for a vote. I don't know if I'll be successful or not, but I didn't give a cloture vote on the bill because there's still things that should be done, and my amendment is one of those.
Yeah. Waters of the U.S., we're still fighting that too, aren't we?
Yeah, that's a big one, and everybody in Nebraska understands the negative effects that that's going to have on our state, on our families. It's more than just agriculture. I always say it's more than the usual suspects. This affects every single taxpayer because it's going to add cost to road building, road maintenance. That's where your taxes go, your county taxes, your city taxes. It's going to affect you if you're going to be buying a new home. It's going to increase the cost of a new home because it's going to be more regulations. So this is a set of rules and regulations that are facing a number of court cases now. Nebraska is joined on and is a participant in one of those court cases. I hope our state can win that.
Yeah. You watching the presidential candidate battle? I know your initial candidate, Marco Rubio, is no longer in the running. So do you have a favorite at all between the 3 that are left?
You know, I'm watching it like every single Nebraskan. I'll be voting next week, and I will support the Republican nominee. I just think it's a fascinating exercise in democracy that we're watching, and it is on both sides. You know, this is not a coronation for Hillary Clinton. Bernie Sanders has won 17 states. She has won 22. The focus a lot of times seems to be on the Republican side, but I encourage people to watch both sides. This is historical, what's going on with with both parties in this election. You know, Bernie Sanders has said he's taken it to the convention, so we might have a couple conventions that are going to see a lot of TV time.
Yeah, brokered conventions. Haven't seen those for a while.
Yeah, it'll be like I said, it'll be interesting. It'll be fascinating. Anybody who likes politics will get a good lesson here that I think is going to be written up in history books.
Yeah. All right, very good. Well, we got time to get you over there to the FM before you need to leave, but we appreciate you coming in and talking to us. Good luck with the hearing. Good luck in D.C.
Thanks. Great to be here. Thank you.
Great to have you here. Senator Deb Fischer with us here on KNEB AM. She's going to move over to the FM side, and I have no idea what Bill Boyer might ask her, but we'll go see here in another few minutes. All right, good deal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Family owned and operated
Very
Thank you.
good.
since 1886. Duke and Kramer